So let us create data frames in this video. So again, we'll just give the comment as data frames. So maybe in this tutorial series, I was not able to give any kind of headings or comments or anything over here. So this need not to be running as code. There is an option of Markdown language also with respect to raw NB convert and heading. So go to just figure out what exactly they are. So basically, this Markdown language can be used for any kind of documentation, syntax. I mean, commenting out or representing what exactly code is going on, or if you want to have kind of any information, so you can do that. Okay, so we'll create data frames from here on. So that is what I wanted to just show with respect to that, and you can just change the individual cell as code or markdown language or also index heading. So you can this also, you can change it as heading directly. Okay, so this is like showing how exactly does not use like Jupyter Notebook uses special headings by using hash. Okay, so I'm using hash over here, right? So that is what is happening over here. So let me just keep it markdown only, and again you need to execute to view it in markdown language. So again, markdown is very simple again language to learn. Okay, so it is again it has only a few uh, kind of syntax which we see in Python also, like using one hash will make it heading one. So if you're going with more number of hashes, it will be like heading 2, heading 3 for 2 hashes. And also if you want to declare anything in points, you can use hyphen or star. Okay, so bolding a text and all you can create with star on the beginning and the end of the strings, or maybe lines and multi lines, you whichever you want to make that. So go ahead and check Markdown language. It is very uh, easy way for documentation also. So again, Markdown supports in most of the open source like version controls also. So I think I'll just leave that over there, and we'll continue with respect to creating a data frame. Okay, so again, I have avoided writing comments since most of them is self-explanatory, but do write comments. So student will create a dictionary. Okay, so maybe data frame for a student. So first we'll create a dictionary. So I'll call this as dict. So student dictionary. So here we can specify with respect to, again you can have multiple this one. So maybe we'll go with our in roll number or something. So roll number. Okay, so here I just want to have a list of numbers again, starting from 1 2 3 4 5. So 5 students would be sufficient, and then we can tell them with respect to any kind of marks, or again if you want to give something else with respect to student name, if you want to give, we can do that. So I'll just have some kind of math scores. Okay, math score, so how much they have done, and also maybe you can go with coding score, something like that. So it doesn't matter, again I'll create a list. So maybe we are scoring them out of 10. So 10 9 9. I feel pretty like all the students are pretty well over here, so that's why they have scored pretty good marks with respect to math. Okay, so let us just execute this and check the dictionary itself. So again, pretty straightforward, which you had already seen. Okay, so now let us create this in terms of a data frame using our pandas library. Okay, so let me call this a student data frame df for short. So I'll just call pandas. So again, the data frame is data frame itself with a capital D and F in the keyword. So shift tab to see again with respect to the documentation. So you can check over here. So maybe a brief walkthrough of the doc string. Okay, so it is like a kind of two-dimensional size mutable potential heterogeneous, which we had already seen in the initial video where we walked through with respect to pandas documentation. Okay, so let us go ahead and just pass in our dictionary over here, and see how exactly it is created. So let me just print out this. So here you can see it is like giving with respect to labels. So columns will have some kind of labels, and row will have some kind of indexes. Okay, so again index can be mentioned as similar way how we had done over here. Okay, so same thing can be done with respect to that. So here maybe I want the index only to be roll numbers. Okay, So I can do that also. So here let me just call like here we don't have multiple, so I'll just uh, using directly. So I just want index to be our roll numbers. Okay, so this itself. Okay, or you can just declare this roll number, or maybe we can get the dictionary with respect to keys. Okay, so with respect to individual key we need to send. So maybe it is a good idea to pass in this itself. So again, you need to loop over range. Okay, so index you can pass like this and check what exactly is happening. So the roll number is changing. So I can eliminate roll number over here and give something like kind of student name. Okay, sorry, I need to change over here. Student name. So again, let us have some kind of names, five random names, short ones. Okay, Alex, uh, Anna, John. So you can go with different names. Something like Tim, and finally we need another name. So who shall be the last student? So we can give any other name. So I'm just reading out of names over here. Okay. So maybe I'll give as ID. Okay. So let that be the five names. Let me just re-execute this. So again, we have an syntax error. So obviously we need to pass it like a lists, right? Because whenever you are giving the student name and colon Alex, so this has become like the next keyword and it is searching for a colon. Okay, so let us re-execute this and check now. So you have roll numbers over here, so that is what we have done with respect to index. So I can jumble up the roll numbers also. So maybe ID must be before uh, Tim and John if you are going with alphabetic English alphabetic order. Okay, so you can go and play around with respect to that. So that is how you can create a data frame. So that was like just creating a dictionary and getting it. So similarly, we have seen for list and tuples. And as I was mentioning in the previous video, also we'll be importing something known as comma separated variable file. Okay, so you can I've already copied in the folder. So let me just go ahead and click that. So here you can see it is separated by comma, and this is how it is visible. So maybe if I can get it the Excel spreadsheet. So let me just launch the Excel spreadsheet so that you can see over here. So this is how it has been done. So you have ID 1 2 3 4 up to 10, and then you have first name, last name, and also gender. Okay, so let us just ignore the what exactly is data set and we'll just concentrate on how exactly we can import this. So importing is pretty straightforward. The first thing is it has to be in relative path, or you need to give absolute path. So for example, my Jupyter notebook is in kind of desktop. So desktop comes under username, which will be again under the Windows installation path. So that will be like mostly it will be C drive. So C drive, user, desktop, and then we had given something like Python scripts. Okay, so the folder Python scripts and Jupyter notebook. So that will be a full path. So absolute path. Else you can just go ahead with relative path. So a relative path is present in the same folder. Okay, so here we have pandas. In the same folder itself, we have this data. So this is much more feasible way, or you can have a subfolders under this also. So even that will help out. So here we will keep in this same folder. So importing will be pretty straightforward. Uh, so let us just go ahead and import that. So again, the name of this is imported. So you can just go ahead and get that. So we will just copy this. Okay, so let us just import our dummy data frame. Okay, so dummy data frame. So for this function we have in pandas something known as read CSV. Read CSV. Okay, so read CSV. Again, here I was telling the full path, so it will come something like C drive, users. Okay, this user is capital, and the username over here is just user, and then you will be having like Python script. So all those. So rather you can just directly give the final file itself. Okay, so this is like the relative path. So you can go ahead and uh, dump that. So it is successfully imported. So we can see it is executed. The shell is executed. So let us see what exactly is present. So here it is just showing out the table. Okay, so it is like having the column name, column labels, okay, and row namings or row indexing. Okay, so it is from 0 to 9. So basically, you can have the ID also as the index. So here you can pass in the range 1 to 10, and maybe remove 1 to 10 over here. So, but again, the data comes along with respect to its ID, right? So again, you can match up with respect to ID, like storing up these ID somewhere. Okay, so again, we shall do that now. Okay, so what I was exactly telling is just make this ID. Okay, so previously we had done in this way, right? So again, passing with respect to data frame. So you need not to do that itself. So let me just show you dummy data frame. So here we'll be using set function. Okay, so you can set something over here. So set index. So this is like one of the Python library. So you can just open that and check what exactly it is. So it is like kind of set data frame index using existing columns. Okay, so again we have already created this as uh, a data frame, right? So that's why it is having data frame. So as I was telling, it is actually from Pandas, not from Python itself. Okay, it is not available natively. So here what I want to change is I want to set my index as ID. Okay, so this particular ID. So that is what I'm indexing over here. So let us just execute that and check with respect to what is our dummy data frame again. So here you can see the ID automatically is sitting as an index. Okay, so this is other the way. So now you don't have an extra column, and also same ID as just fit in over here. So that is done. So again, there are like here we have only 10 data sets. So if at all you have thousands, so again data will vary from thousands, 10,000 lakhs, 10 lakhs also when it comes to real time application. So when you're just printing this, it won't print everything. So what happens is it will print 4 or 5. There will be a lot of dots, and then 4 or 5. Okay, so at this scenario, what you can do is you can print with respect to a particular information itself. So maybe I just wanted the top. Okay, so at that scenario I can just call in a function. So again, these functions are present for this one. So you just refer documentation of Pandas with respect to data frame. You will find that. So this is head. So shift tab also can be done. So frame or series. So it works for both. So it will just print out the top by default n5. Else you can pass in that as a parameter. So here you can see n int equal to 5. So let us just print the top 5. We'll just keep it as the same index itself. So you can see it is printing 5. So maybe if I want to print 6, you can give 6. So it is printing the top 6. Okay, so similar to head, we have tail. So it will just print out the last value. So maybe give the index 6. So last 6 values. So it is printing out. Okay, so again we can have info about it. So find all the information about this. So let us just execute that. So it is telling what kind of data type it is. Okay, and how many entries we have. So 10 entries, 1 to 10. And what about the data columns? How many we have? So total 3 columns we have. Okay, like first name, non sent, like again with respect to 10, and data type object. Okay, so this is like kind of the general information which you can get, and also it can tell the memory usage. Okay, so how much memory it is using. So it will be using 320 plus bytes of data. So again that will be there. Again, if you want to get dimensions, you can get that. So maybe you can get that with respect to using the function known as shape. Okay, so it is telling 10 cross 3. Okay, number of rows into number of columns, right? So 10 rows and 3 columns. And you can get description. Okay, description. So not description, it's just describe. Okay, yeah, describe. So let me just execute that. So you can see like what is like the count and unique, and also what is like the top and the frequency of it. So this is kind of few description between these data types. So here there is very much less to compare it. So it is telling how many first names are there. Like some can be blank also. So as you was seeing, Pandas is capable of filling the missing data. like with respect to unique items, so gender, we have 7 gender items, also which is the most used top, and how frequently it is been repeated. Okay, so something like that. So again, you can print out values. So most usually I'll use values to check with respect to the data. So it will be printing out in an array format. Okay, so lists of array actually. So you can see this is a list, and next you have another list. So each row is like kind of a list over here. So again, we'll be printing out in this way and also checking with respect to data. So when it comes to again like kind of training a machine learning model, or getting AI stuff, or data manipulation with respect to data analysis. So usually you'll be converting these data into arrays of list itself and then checking them. And also individually I was telling with respect to this count. Okay, if you just need just the count, again the function is available only for count. Okay, so count, I think I have covered most of the this one. So here it is telling count of individual. Okay, I forgot the open parenthesis and close parenthesis. Okay, so it is saying first name 10, last name 10, and gender also 10. Okay, and similarly you can pass in like kind of dummy data frame, gender, value counts. So you can check that also. So it will tell how many, like we had seen like the frequency of male repeating twice, right? So there are other genders also which will be repeating, so that also will be done. So again, you can slice it. So dummy data frame 0 down to 1. So you can slice and get the data. So 0 from 1. So maybe we'll get more, 5. So 0 to 5. So that is what has been done, like sliced out. So again, it can be done in 3 parameters also, like the size and the step. So if you recall that, maybe I want to go to 1 to 8 with respect to alternative one. So step equal to 2. So 1, 3, 5, 7. So all the odd numbers is showing up over here. So there are many ways where you can manipulate. You can find the individual type of a data itself inside. Okay, so maybe you can like the function will be like type of dummy data. Maybe you need to define with respect to the gender and the first name or something like that. So it has to be unique data, right? So you can find that and you can check. And also with respect to index, you can tell I want to know the 7th index gender. Okay, so that also can be done. Maybe I'll just show that. So like we'll be using locate function for that. LOC locate 10 comma like 7. Okay, so still 7 gender. Okay, so make sure this is case sensitive. So this and this matches case also. So it is telling female. Okay, so that is what is over here. So individually also you can get, and also you can find with respect to 0th row and first column in this is called as something known as ilocate. Okay, so again you can just check with respect to documentation. So 0 comma 1. So let us just execute that. So it is getting by query. So basically this is coming 0 comma 1. Okay, so row and column. Okay, so index locating. Okay, ilocate. So you can just get the documentation also, shift tab. Okay, check. So I hope I was right about index locating. So that just came out in random way. I've used it, but I was never bothered to look up the exact name of it because I don't understand what exactly it is. And also you can find out with respect to index, like which is having greater than 3 or something like that. All the mathematical functions you can just deploy under this to get any particular data you need to get. Okay, so that's all with respect to I think we are done with the chapter 2 with respect to Python uh, basics. So I think this is more than sufficient with respect to learning programming language. So we had lots of hands-on experience with respect to all the like data types. We worked on individual data types and also functions, what it can be done, loops, conditional operators, and the few hands-on packages which we saw. So these are like kind of most like a inbuilt ones, and mostly we'll be using this for data manipulation, numpy, and also with respect to like kind of you want to import anything and manipulate with respect to rows and columns, like multi-dimensional. We'll go with pandas, uh, and then data visualization. Ultimately, you need to visualize your data, so that will give. I just recall the famous wordings like 100. A beautiful picture is equivalent to 100 words or something, 1000 words or something like that. I didn't get the exact words, but you understand, right? So visualizing your data will give much more information about the data set or whatever manipulation you have done, rather than just printing out all the data. So when you are working like hundreds, thousands, 10,000s of data, so you can just print out 10,000 lines of data and tell the user to just check it. Okay, the end user or the person who is using the application. Okay. So instead, you can just put it down in a graphical format. Okay, so maybe a pie chart or a bar graph or whatever we have seen in Matplotlib. Okay, you can do a different type of color coding for that also. So that was Matplotlib and Pandas hands-on experience. Again, we'll be using more packages, more this one. So there is thousands and hundreds of more package. There is actually lakhs and 10 lakhs of Python packages, libraries. So to remember every single one with respect to again with respect to functions, it is very difficult. So that's why whenever you are working, just go ahead and check with respect to data sheets. So again, I have the data sheet open in my other monitor, so that's why I was referring it back and forth every time I was working. So like never feel that you have not learned and you have to not refer data sheet when programming or anything like that. With experience, you will remember it better. So always check with respect to data sheets, refer them periodically, like every single time. Maybe if you are not that familiar at the beginning, so later on you will be very familiar. Okay, so that's all with respect to this one. So we'll move on to the next chapter in the next video.